Hey guys, coming to another movie for you guys, and this is going to actually be the first movie review I do on this channel. If you guys haven't seen my videos before, this will be the first movie review you see. But of course, most of you are returning subscribers. I'm assuming you are. You know, most people that have subscribed to me have subscribed to me on my other channel. You guys don't care about this. But anyway, the movie I've been reviewing, I was definitely really looking forward to this movie. I wanted to see this movie for a long time, and finally, I've gotten to see it. Actually, right before I got, my channel suspended, I was watching this movie, and I'm like, I can't wait to do this review. It took me this long to do it because, I made the whole channel and everything. I'm like, alright, I'll just wait, and finally I get to review it, and that is none other than Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I was really looking forward to this movie for several reasons. I mean, one, I love Andy Samberg in The Lonely Island. I think everything they do is great. Everything really is hilarious, and they really, honestly, are really genius. They're one of the best things to come out of Saturday Night Live in some time. That's why Saturday Night Live I don't think is as good anymore, because The Lonely Island's not really there. But I was definitely looking forward to this. I was really hoping for their sake it'd be really great. Also, Andy Samberg hasn't had the big comedy hit, and I was definitely hoping this would be. And after seeing this, Andy Samberg finally has gotten that comedy hit. This movie, I thought, was so much funnier than I thought it was going to be. Really, I think this is honestly right up there with The Nice Guys. It's probably neck and neck between this and The Nice Guys for the funniest comedy of the summer. But I absolutely love this movie so much more than I thought I was going to. But basically, let's get to the plot of this movie. The plot of this movie is fairly simple. The plot's not really as important as why the movie is as good as it is. The plot of this movie, we have this character, Connor For Real. He used to be in this fictional boy band called, I think it's called the Swish Boys. I'm trying to remember exactly what they were called. The Style Boys is what they were called. The Style Boys. Ever since then, they have broken up because Connor went off on his own. Another one of them was a farmer, and the other one is his DJ, basically. But basically, he feels, he is this huge star, and he feels that anything he touches will turn to gold. Anything he touches, any kind of music he makes is going to be fantastic. But basically, all of that changes when he starts to put out his new album, and from there, he's down spiraling, and, people are starting to not like him as much, and it's also done all in in a mockumentary style. That's basically the plot of Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, and that's one of the reasons I really did like the movie, is the plot. But like I said, the plot's not exactly the most important thing about this movie. Let's get to the thing that I think really makes this movie the most, and that is definitely the cast, especially its central lead. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Andy Samberg. I think he's a very talented guy, and especially, after I watched him on the Emmys, I'm like, I want this guy to get a great movie, and, he's had a great TV show with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've heard it's a great show overall. Finally, like I said, he has a hit movie. I mean, he just gets this character down so well, Connor For Real. I think this is a fantastic character, and yes, it is very much parodying, Justin Bieber and other characters, and, other famous pop singers like that, but I think he did a really good job with that. I really love what he did with this role. Definitely, he was so funny at points. I mean, just watching this guy, honestly, like I said, he thinks anything he touches is gonna just turn to gold. So he keeps just making shit after shit, and then really, it's so offensive, but he doesn't realize how offensive it is. He's very naive. He's also really self-centered, but he doesn't realize how self-centered he's becoming, and I honestly did kind of feel bad for his character, because, he wasn't really like he wasn't really raised like a real kid. He, has been famous all his life, and he doesn't really know what the real world is like, and I kind of did feel bad for him. But at the same time, it's, like, ridiculous what he's going through. But I really think Andy Samberg did a great job, really carried this movie, one of the best things about it by far, and I am very happy that finally he has a great role, because really, it is about time that he has a fantastic role. I think just as great, though, as Andy Samberg is Akiva, Schaffer, and Jorma Taccone. I think they both did a fantastic job in this, because these are the guys that do The Lonely Island with Andy Samberg, and you really do see the chemistry that they have, and I did kind of feel bad for the characters, because especially the character of Lawrence, who's become this farmer, and, I think a very good subplot that they did with him is showing, the creative struggle, and that he does all the work, but Connor gets all the credit, and you really do understand what he's going through as well. And also, Owen, this kid probably is the one that's getting the most shit on. I mean, throughout the movie, constantly he keeps, getting changed from DJ to then having this robot head. I mean, it really is ridiculous, but these three really do work great together. I think they really did a great job, and really, I mean, it's great that they finally had a great movie. I think they all really did a great job. I thought they all were fantastic, and they don't get a lot of scene scare until the third act of the movie, but really, they all were fantastic. I think really, especially with those two. I think they were just as strong as Andy Samberg. They really did a great job. I know a lot of people have been talking about Andy Samberg. Not enough people have been talking about them, but I really think those three, they work great together, and it makes sense why they've been continuing The Lonely Island after all these years, because really, it's, they work great together. They work great together. They're very funny, and I really think, just like this movie, you can't have Connor for real without the Style Boys. You can't have Andy Samberg without the other two. You just can't. And I think they showed that very well here, and I'm very happy that they as well were in this. I don't think the movie would have been nearly as strong had the three members of Lonely Island not be in this movie. And then the supporting cast in this is really good as well. You got Sarah Silverman, who I think did a really good job. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I don't dislike her. I'm just not the biggest fan of her. Tim Meadows, I really loved his character. I thought he was awesome. He's kind of like the voice of reason, where even if something is going really bad for Connor, he's always trying to brighten up his spirit. But there's also this really funny subplot going on with him that I thought was very funny. And the amount of cameos they got for this movie is just insane. I mean, they got so many people here. You got, you go all the way from Adam Levine to Michael Bolton to Simon Cowell to 50 Cent even. I mean, there are so many people they got for this movie, and it doesn't just feel like, oh, here's this cameo, here's this cameo. It feels like a real documentary, and it flows very well because of it, and that's something that I really enjoyed. Joan Cusack has probably one of the funniest parts in this entire movie. She has one of the funniest gags. I'm not going to spoil who she is, but she was absolutely hilarious. I love what she did. Maya Rudolph was great here. Really, just everyone I think was fantastic here. I think everyone really did a great job, and definitely the cast really makes this movie as good as it is. The directing here as well, this is also directed by Akiva, Schaffer, and Jorma Taccone, and I think they did a really good job with that, mainly because this was their idea. If you guys didn't know, this was all their idea. This was all the Lonely Island's idea. They wanted to be the ones to make this movie, and I think they did a really great job. The tone here is really silly, and you're not supposed to take it seriously, but you're also kind of supposed to take it seriously. It's kind of a commentary on, pop stars and how successful they are, and it's kind of supposed to be a documentary like Never Say Never, and I think they did a really good job with it. And the documentary style especially really does, you kind of understand where they're coming from. I think that was something I definitely really did enjoy. I think directing was really good. The screenplay here, oh my god, the screenplay is so funny, and I didn't say it before, but I really think this is Spinal Tap of the 2000s. I mean, this really is absolutely hilarious. So many funny gags. This movie, way too many to name, but there are so many great gags in this movie. I mean, I think they did a great job with that. It's a very funny film, just so many things I could name, so many great recurring jokes as well. But the other thing I was very impressed by with this movie is what it actually has to say about the music business, how manipulative it can be, how self-centric it can be, and also how, destructive it can be for someone. I mean, when you have someone like Connor, like I said, he's been talented all his life, he's really never thought of what's been happening to him. He's kind of just become this big joke, and he doesn't really realize that, and he's become huge, but he's also kind of a joke, and you really do see that. And even though the circumstances in this movie and the things he gets into, are really silly, some of them you can kind of see happening, and I think they did a good job of doing that. Even though this is, like I said, a silly movie, it also does have some great social commentary on artists and how they're not like normal people, and also what artists go through on a daily basis. A lot of the things that Connor's going through, I think something like what he's going through, an artist has been through before, and I think they did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed that, and especially in the third act of this movie, it actually does get quite dramatic at times, and I wasn't expecting that, but I really did enjoy how dramatic it got. I thought it was overall a really interesting story. I heard a lot of people say the story's very been there, done that, and yeah, we've seen the whole washed up star before, but I think what this movie does is show why he is this way, and show what he really has to go through, and show the creative struggle that he has endured all his life. And I think they also did a great job of really getting in depth with his character and showing that he's really not a bad guy. He's just kind of been turned into this way, and I think I really enjoyed that. Thought that was really great, and especially the main message of this movie I think is really fantastic. I really love that, and that's something that I really thought was great, was the screenplay. I was very surprised by how good it was. Cinematography here was fantastic. It really did feel, honestly, even though I knew this was a mockumentary, it did feel like I was watching a documentary, and especially the way they did the cameos, it just works so well because it seems like they're actually talking about it. And yes, what they're saying is absolutely ridiculous, but it does feel like you're watching a documentary, and I really appreciate that. I thought that was just a lot of fun to watch, and really added to how fun the movie really was. I really did love that, and I forgot forgot to say, by far one of the best times I've had with any movie so far this summer. I mean, this year even. I mean, this movie was just a ton of fun, and definitely, if you just want to watch a fun movie, this is definitely the movie for you. Absolutely love that. But also, I think one of the biggest highlights of this movie, one of the things I can definitely credit it, is the music. The music here is fantastic. Every song is a hit, and even though these songs, like I said, are extremely offensive, you're gonna have them in your head, especially a song about Bin Laden. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's extremely offensive, but it's also hilarious and extremely catchy, and after this movie, I couldn't get out of my head, and it's kind of a problem because it's not a song you want to be singing, you know, like your workplace or something, but you're probably gonna end up doing that because the songs in this movie are just so damn catchy. And like I said, the amount of people they were able to get, and these are people that Lonely Island have worked with before, like Michael Bolton, Adam Levine. They've worked with these people before in songs, but it really just feels like a collection of songs and not just like, you know, it never just didn't feel like, it never felt like just random music videos. It felt like it went with the movie, because most movies that are based on, you know, pop stars have tons of songs throughout, and this movie kind of did that. And honestly, if it feels tedious, it's supposed to. I think that's kind of the point, is that a lot of these documentaries are very tedious, and I think that's one of the points the movie's trying to make, and I really love that. And the songs get sillier and sillier as the movie goes on, and that's one of the strongest points of the movie. The music here is just awesome, and this is one of the reasons why The Lonely Island is so great, is because they just come up with so many ridiculous, offensive ideas, but they're awesome, and they've all been fantastic. I mean, they have had, just like Connor for Real, they've had hit after hit, and I really think all their songs are just genius, and this, you know, this movie being no exception. All their songs really are great here. The editing as well, I thought this movie was very tightly paced. I was into it the whole time. It did drag, just, if I had to have one complaint, I think it did drag just a little bit, in the second half, but then once we got into that third act, I mean, the movie stayed consistently funny. That's the thing. Even though the movie did drag a little bit, it stayed consistently funny. I was consistently into it. I was consistently laughing, and it's, I mean, I haven't laughed this hard, you know, I haven't laughed this hard since The Nice Guys. Nice Guys and Popstar are the two movies I've laughed the hardest at. I laughed so hard during this movie, and I think that's enough of a reason for me to credit it. So overall, guys, I absolutely love Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. So much more than I thought it was going to. It was so much more deeper, not deeper, that's not the word, but it was just so much more profound and interesting than I thought it was going to be. It was so much more investing, and it was just a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be, and I'm definitely going to give Popstar Never Stop, Never Stop a 4.5 out of 5 or an A. I would have gone all the way, but like I said, just that small little edits, some scenes drag on a little bit. Other than that, guys, this is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a very long time. I absolutely love this movie. I mean, definitely, this is The Nice Guys, like I said, neck and neck for best movie, best comedy of the year, without a doubt. Absolutely loved this movie, and definitely one of the best, you know, comedy I've seen that's dealt with music in a while, because a lot of those movies, they don't really work. This movie just, it hit all the comedic beats. It's really everything you want in me, especially if you love The Lonely Island, you'll definitely really love it. So I also forgot to say, Judd Apatow did produce this movie, and he did a really great job with that as well, but definitely, if you have seen The Lonely Island, or you've even heard of their music, you definitely will check this out, because I think everyone will have a great time, and everyone will walk away thinking it's a lot better than they initially thought it was going to be, just like I did. So overall, guys, guys thought of Popstar Never Stopping. If you have seen, left your thoughts in it. I absolutely love this movie, and for me, I think really, I know it's not playing in theaters anymore, but if you want to see, if it's playing in a theater near you, you want to have a fun time with the movies, go check it out. I'm surprised I didn't see this movie in theaters. I wish I would have seen it in theaters, honestly. I had to watch it on Solar Movie, you know, that site I always use, but let me know what you guys saw this movie, have seen, left your thoughts in it. We'll see you guys in my next, which will be for tonight's episode of Preacher. I'm glad to be back on this channel. Good to be back, good to be doing reviews, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.